Hi, I'm Vince Molinari, and welcome to FinTech TV's ETF Rundown. And we are coming to you from the famed, iconic New York Stock Exchange. I am delighted to be joined by Doug Heske, who is the CEO of New Day Impact Investing. New Day is a vertically integrated, technology-enabled asset manager and registered investment advisor. New Day provides affordable, transparent, and easy-to-understand impact investment solutions available to the mass market. That is quite an opening. Doug, welcome.
Vince, thank you. Wonderful to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. Great to have you here riding the wave of the recent ETF listing, AHOY. Exciting times.
Yes, what an appropriate statement. And yesterday, as you probably are aware, is the 30th anniversary of World Oceans Day. And we couldn't be more pleased to be bringing what is our first exchange-traded fund to market on World Oceans Day in association with Earth Echo International and Philippe Cousteau. It was quite a day.
Well, it warms my heart. You know, SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN, Oceans Day, the New York Stock Exchange being a member of the Sustainable Stock Exchange Initiative of the UN. What a great day.
Yes, thank you.
Well, so I am so intrigued and love to learn more. Tell us a bit about New Day, its founding, what your vision was, and really this movement that seems to gain so much momentum.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up because it really is a movement. And this is what we're trying to build here through not just the delivery of what are a set of investment vehicles that have been constructed around a subset of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, but even more importantly, opportunities for every individual and institution that is responsibly minded that wants to align their values with their financial strategy. So that was the catalyst for our organization. And having come from the traditional wealth and asset business, there haven't always been those types of opportunities for people to do that. And we're very excited about not only the AHOY ETF, but an upcoming series of ETFs that will come over the next 24 months as well.
That's almost like a cliffhanger. We've got one, and here, wait till you see what's coming next. We'll have to have you back to continue to talk about the series of AHOY ETFs. I wanted to jump back for a second. You know, the leadership here of Lynn Martin at the New York Stock Exchange had a tremendous interview with her going back 2 years ago at Climate Week 2020, and it was the first time I really started to see a financial institution talk about ESG as an alpha generator, right? And really the fact that you can have new data sets, understand it, look it as an alpha generator. Now the other side of it is, how do you capture that alpha? And it seems to me that's a great positioning for AHOY.
Yeah, and I think that this is a very important point. So, and all makes sense as well. So organizations that are not just running policy and practice around these important impact initiatives, but actually putting into practice, demonstrating that they're leaders within the ESG or sustainability space, or organizations longer term that are going to outperform. Makes sense. Like, a good company does what? A good company generates extraordinary wealth for their shareholders, but they also take great care of their stakeholders, whether they be suppliers and customers and employees and things like that. So that is the mindset that we at New Day adopt, not as an asset class around ESG and impact, but as something that is fully integrated into the evaluation system for any particular publicly traded organization.
I guess hence New Day as the starting point, but I couldn't agree with you more. When we start to think about stakeholders being consumers being stakeholders in an organization that they believe in and that have the true DNA to operate properly for stakeholders.
That's correct.
And I think you're right. When we really look at the performance of those companies, they outperform on any traditional metrics.
Yes, and there's something more to be said. Like, we understand as an ESG and impact organization that the transfer of a common share of equity from one holder to another doesn't necessarily directly translate to impact. But if within an active strategy, if a customer or a shareholder is using that shareholder voice to advocate for change, which is what we do at our organization with our portfolio constituents, it can drive transformational change. Moreover, we as an organization are taking a percentage of our revenues tied to the AHOY ETF and directing them back to organizations like Earth Echo International so that they can, as they have done their grassroots work, continue to support that over time.
Love that. So truly circular in the approach of creating a little bit of systemic change of the flow of capital.
That's right.
Talk to me a little bit about your advisors, and I know you mentioned the Cousteau family, Philip himself involved. Give a little shout out to what an amazing group that you have behind you.
We are so incredibly privileged to have built what is this set of very distinguished impact advocates, not just for the work that we do at New Day, but for the cause of sustainability in general. So they are people like Philippe Cousteau, his sister Alexandra, individuals like Jane Goodall and the Jane Goodall Institute. We also have a very close relationship with a woman by the name of Georgie Bedell, who was the former Miss Africa, but most importantly, a social entrepreneur based here in New York that is doing really powerful things in her home country of Burkina Faso regarding supporting women's empowerment, clean water and sanitation and things like that, not only in Burkina Faso, but other neighboring West African countries as well.
Well, that in itself is certainly a testimony to your leadership, New Day and AHOY, to have a bit of the who's who surrounding you, and not only lending their brands, but really being involved in what we'll call this movement, this recognition to New Day.
We're very proud of that. And I like to say that we finally feel like we've got the wind at our backs. So the money, capital that has gone into the ESG and impact space over the last decade or so is truly extraordinary. And then there are organizations like the Securities Industry Financial Management Association, who run the national stock market game in the K-12 educational system every year, educating 700,000 students. But now, rather than just evaluating students on the financial metrics associated with the virtual portfolios they're building, they are evaluated based upon the sustainability characteristics of those companies that they're choosing as well.
That is, when you talk about education and awareness to lead to action, what a perfect way to begin to ingrain that in next gen.
Absolutely. And we have, through some of these partnerships with Philippe Cousteau and Jane Goodall, have done what are these educational events for thousands of students and faculty members, teachers around the country, whereby these younger people have an opportunity to actually hop on a Zoom call with Philippe Cousteau or Jane Goodall or Georgie Bedell and others that are part of that program. So it's very exciting.
What a wonderful incentive, reward, motivation, all wrapped into one. Can I get one of those calls?
Absolutely. Well, we are training the future leaders of tomorrow, and that's what our hope for all of us should be.
Well done. Doug, if we could just touch on before we leave, the impact of AHOY and the potential health on our oceans. It's so essential to our planet. Speak to us a little bit about that, if you would.
We have given a tremendous amount of thought to how we want to deliver this set of exchange-traded funds into the marketplace over the next 5 years. And ocean health is so fundamental to the work that's being done today relative to climate action. It has to start with oceans. Oceans are the largest carbon sink on the planet. If we can't take care of our oceans and we continue to have warming oceans, nothing else really matters. So we wanted to start with something that was incredibly foundational to all the other work that we do. And so what we want to do, tying back to this original statement that you make, is create movements here. We want every individual, every institution to be thinking more responsibly about how they make not just financial and investment decisions, but how they make personal consumer purchase decisions and other things that have an opportunity, if done right, to affect transformational change around our planet.
Well, I couldn't find a better way to end on a high note there. Doug, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the launch, and looking forward to having you back again to tell us more about the progress of the next launches.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you.